But how long will this continue? How long will Hindus be targeted in Jammu and Kashmir? We'll discuss that. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Let's get started with the headlines at 5. Horrific New Year tragedy in the national capital. 5 men allegedly drunk hit a scooty, dragged the girl for 12 kilometers. The girl died on spot. Accused remanded to 3 days police custody. Arvind Kejriwal demands capital punishment.
अपील करता हूं कि चाहे जितने भी रसूख वाले क्यों ना हों जो दोषी हैं उनको सख्त से सख्त सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए। ऐसा ये तो रेयरेस्ट ऑफ रेयर क्राइम्स में आता है। ऐसे लोगों को तो फांसी की सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए।
Aam Aadmi Party ups the ante against Delhi's Lieutenant Governor and the police. Aam Aadmi Party claims one of the accused, Manoj Mittal, is a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Shizan's family counters allegations of forced conversion as claimed by Tunisha's family. Says the actor wore a hijab as part of a show she was working on. Narendra Modi government's 2016 note ban passes the legal test. Supreme Court passes a 4-1 judgment in favor of the note ban. Says the centre has the right to introduce and demonetize notes. 8 coaches of the Bandra-Jodhpur Express train derail in Pali, Rajasthan. At least 10 seriously injured, another 11 coaches impacted. Big revelation by the Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, Dilbag Singh. Dilbag Singh spoken exclusively to India Today, and he says the IED blast in which 2 children were killed in Rajouri was a planned attack to target senior police officers. Dilbag Singh has accused Pakistan of trying to disrupt the democratic process in Jammu and Kashmir. He says an attempt is being made to disrupt and destroy communal harmony in Jammu and Kashmir by the targeted killings of Hindus in Rajouri. He spoke to India Today's Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu. Let's listen in.
Some field stuff was lying there under which this ID was also placed. So it seems to be a timed device which went off in the morning. It appears that the ID was planned in a way that the senior officers would visit the site around the time in the morning. And then as per the timing, it will go off and it will cause damage, loss to the security forces and the police officers on the spot. Unfortunately, police did their checks and all during the night but could not find it. Area around the incident has been put under search and under cordon. I think it will take some time, but we definitely are trying to find out more clues about
this has happened at New Year's time, and a lot of people are talking about whether this is an intelligence failure.
You see, in this kind of situation where you have a number of attempts being made from across for infiltrating terrorists this side, another incident has taken place in Punch wherein stuff that they were carrying has been caught and that operation is still on.
And India Today's Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu now joins me for more on this big and a very disturbing story. Kamal, you spoke exclusively to Dilbag Singh, the DGP of J&K, and it now appears this is part of a bigger, wider and a more sinister design by our neighbors.
Well, that's not surprising, Gaurav, because you and I both know that we've been covering both the line of control and the international border, the sort of nefarious designs, because every time with Pakistan, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. So we're not really progressing as far as Pakistan is concerned. But considering that post-Article 370 in 2019, huge steps have been made. And this is where Pakistan has tried to disrupt peace yet again by targeting the Hindus right in this particular area. And Dhira is the area where there is a dominant Hindu population. The the way it is also a tactics where they can put pressure, and this is where they have actually sent in 2 terrorists. Now we try to speak to Dilbag Singh, and he says it is suspected that these are foreign terrorists who could have freshly infiltrated. They're trying to get more details on it, but this is a mere suspicion at this point of time. But they are also looking at the fact that this could be an internal sabotage, somebody who could have actually told them where the families were staying. They asked for Aadhaar card from 2 of the family members. So all these are details. The story now needs to add up, because remember in Jammu there was an encounter in which 4 foreign terrorists and the terrorists were killed, and then there were also there's an operation which is going on in Punj, and thereafter we know with just elections around the corner in J&K, as well as the G20 which is planned both in Jammu and in Srinagar, this is going to be a matter of prestige, and this is where Pakistan has really stepped up. And we've seen attack not just taking place in Jammu, there have been 2 incidents reported in Kashmir as well, whether it's gun snatching in Kupwara, whether it is a grenade attack in Srinagar. So there seems to be a sudden spike, and there seems to be a plan, whether it was initially to send in drugs and ammunition through drones, and now we've seen a step up as far as terror attacks is concerned. So yes, Jammu Kashmir and security forces are on high alert at this point of time.
In fact, 2023, India's presidency of G20, clearly India's neighbors, adversaries and the enemy within would try to disrupt India's rise. That was an intelligence alert. It's happening so quickly, shows the alacrity with which these terrorists operate. Kamal, for joining me, many thanks. For the benefit of viewers joining us, twin terror strikes in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district. 2 innocent children lost their lives in an IED blast. But before that, terrorists wearing camouflage fatigues, they identified Hindu homes, they identified Hindu families and gunned them down in cold blood. They saw their Aadhaar card to confirm their identity and then killed them at point blank range. In fact, in the Kashmir Valley, a CRPF vehicle was also targeted. So this is how terrorists are trying to show their presence on both sides of the Pir Panjal ranges. Bloodshed in Jammu and Kashmir in the new year. Twin terror attacks in Rajouri in less than 24 hours. A day after the dastardly terror attack that claimed 4 lives in Upper Dangri village, explosions rocked the same area on Monday. At least 2 children are dead and 5 injured in the explosions.
आज सुबह जब तलाशी चल रही थी तब एक और यहाँ पे धमाका हुआ। ऐसा लगता है कि आईडी बहुत तरीके से किसी बोरे के नीचे प्लांट की गई थी, जिसके अंदर धमाका हुआ। उस पे एक बच्चे की डेथ हुई है और 7 लोग और इंजर्ड हैं उसमें। मामले की जांच चल रही है। हमने पूरे एरिया को कॉर्डन किया हुआ है। आर्मी, सीआरपीएफ, पुलिस सभी ने एरिया को कॉर्डन किया हुआ है और तलाशी अभियान जारी है।
On Sunday, 2 terrorists barged into 3 houses belonging to people of the Hindu community and opened fire. Sources tell India Today that terrorists first checked the identity cards of the victims. Once their identity was verified using the Aadhaar card, the men were killed. The terrorists were dressed in khaki.
फायरिंग की कुछ आवाज़ आई, हम आगे आए तो हमें जैसे ही आके हम मतलब किसी घर में यहाँ पे नीचे में एक्चुअली नॉन नहीं हो इतना उनके घर के आगे आए तो सर मतलब उनको उठाने की हालत में नहीं थे। ये देखो सर हालत बिल्कुल उनके सर बिल्कुल टोटली मतलब यहाँ से कुछ था ही नहीं।
इसी घर में अटैक हुआ है?
नहीं सर, हाँ बिल्कुल इसी घर में सर, बिल्कुल मतलब वो टोटली मतलब ऑन द स्पॉट डेड डिक्लेयर्ड थे वो।
The terror attacks spread panic across the region. Several organizations, including traders' bodies, called for a general strike in Rajouri on Monday. Kashmiri Hindus hit the streets calling for an end to the targeted killings. The Shiv Sena protesters burnt Pakistan's flags.
जब फायरिंग की आवाज आई तो ऊपर से कोई चिल्लाने लगा कि अपनी अपनी जान बचाओ, अंदर चले जाओ। हम सब अंदर चले गए। फिर फायरिंग हमारे घर के पीछे भी फायरिंग बहुत हुई है।
देखिए, सबसे पहले हमारी मांग है कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जितनी है पूरी रिशफल होनी चाहिए। ये फेलियर है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का। पूरी तरीके से हम जो है यहाँ असुरक्षित महसूस कर रहे हैं इस समय।
जो भी कल्प्रिट्स हैं जहाँ पे भी हैं उनको निकाल के चुन चुन के गोली मारी जाए। आज हमारे भाई, चाचा, ताया ये हमारे सब अपने थे। आज हमें महसूस हो रहा है कि आज सिचुएशन 1947 वाली दोबारा रिपीट की जा रही है।
The BJP pledged to wipe out terrorism from the Union territory. The Congress alleged the Jammu and Kashmir administration had failed to ensure security.
आतंकवादी हमला होता है कल रात को, वहाँ 4 लोगों की जान चली गई और 8 से ऊपर लोग यहाँ जख्मी हो गए और आज सुबह फिर से यहाँ यह मामला हो गया। क्या इस पूरे एरिया की सर्च ऑपरेशन करके इन आतंकवादियों को मौत के घाट उतारा जाता?
सर, आपको लग रहा है कोई नेग्लिजेंस?
देखिए, बहुत बड़ी साजिश है।
घटनाओं के पीछे पूरी साजिश को भी बेनकाब किया जाए और उन आतंकवादियों को जो है वो एलिमिनेट करना चाहिए। हम सरकार से ये मांग करते हैं कि सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज को और सतर्क करें, इंटेलिजेंस नेटवर्क को मजबूत करें और सरकार के साथ खड़े हैं।
इसमें बहुत ही मुश्किल हालात।
Political parties from the valley hit out at the BJP, saying terror attacks continue unchecked in J&K despite action on Article 370 and central rule.
उम्मीद को कभी मत छोड़िए। ये बहुत ही दुख की बात है कि आतंकवाद अभी भी इस रियासत में चल रहा है। बेगुनाहों को मारा जा रहा है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। बेगुनाह वो किसी भी मजहब से ताल्लुक रखते हैं। ये बीमारी अब बहुत बढ़ गई है। सारे वतन में नफरत जिस तरह फैलाई जा रही है, ये उसी का नतीजा भी है।
हमें तो अफसोस के बगैर हम तो हाथ मलते रह जाते हैं। हाँ, इससे ये जो इसमें हिंदू मुस्लिम का नैरेटिव एक जमात चलाती है जिनको इसका फ़ायदा होता है, जिनको इस किस्म की हलाकतों से जो है पूरे मुल्क में नफरत फैलाने का और एक मौका मिलता है और ये बहुत बहुत अफसोस की बात है।
मैडम, The Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha condemned the cowardly attacks on Hindus and promised action against the terrorists. The Sunday terror strike was the first such attack in the past several years in the otherwise peaceful Jammu region and coincided with the first day of 2023. With Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu and Sunilji Bhatt in Rajouri. Bureau Report, India Today. Pakistan-backed radical Islamic terror had targeted Hindus in the Kashmir Valley. There were mosque loudspeakers that were used to chant slogans telling Hindu Kashmiri Pandits to leave and leave their women behind or convert to Islam. India's been through that. Kashmir has suffered that. And Kashmir, actually, most of the Hindu Pandits, they left. Is that what is happening even in Rajouri? They've targeted this minority community in Rajouri. Is this part of a wider plan? Let's throw this open to our guests who join us on the show. I have Firdaus Taq of the PDP join me on the broadcast. Charu Pragya represents the BJP. I have Lieutenant General Syed Ada Hasnain. He retired he served as the Kashmir Corps commander, knows that area like the back of his hand. General Hasnain, I want a military perspective from you, sir. You've served there as a young lieutenant and as a lieutenant general. In your view, are we seeing the targeting of of Hindus, first in Kashmir, now in Rajouri?
Gaurav, thank you first of all for having me on this show, and this is a very relevant program. I will be absolutely military in my orientation and approach, nothing political at all. Your question is very pertinent. The targeting of a segment of the people particularly if it's a minority population in a particular area, obviously sends home messages. It obviously instigates and attempts to show capability of your adversary on the other side. The date is important. 1st of January. Why 1st of January? Because in terrorism, symbolism is very important. To show first day of the year, see, we have taken you on hand on. And we will do this through the year. What we have to ensure is that none of this succeeds in the future. In the next few days, I have no doubt the Indian Army, the CRPF, and all the security forces will get their act together and target these very terrorists who have carried out this particular act. To add to that, one small little issue which is important. The dying embers of terrorism anywhere always will witness attempts of this kind. These are one-off attempts.
Okay.
If I find that in the month of January, 6 such attempts have been made, then there's something drastically wrong. This is the first of 2023 that this effort has been made. I hope we will get our act together to make sure nothing like this happens in the future. If you remember,
absolutely. And there are multiple reasons.
After a long interval in the Kashmir Valley, you also saw such things happening in October in the area of Hilkaka last year,
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
Similar things to try and demonstrate capability. Now, we have to ensure that we have won 3/4 of the battle. In fact, I would say 7/8 of the battle. The dying embers of militancy, terrorism, have to be neutralized and ensure that this does not raise its ugly head again.
General, I'll come back to you on the dying embers of terror, because there are many who are willing to fan that fire in our country, and we've come to this, we've come thus far even before. But instead of that decisive blow against terror, pulled back, removed the armed forces from various pockets, and wherever armed forces were removed, terrorists came in once again. You recall that phase when you were there in South Kashmir, when brigade after brigade, sector after sector were cleared. Terrorists came and settled there. And Firdaus Tak, I want to come to you on that aspect, sir. Mehbooba Mufti today talks about जो लोग इसमें हिंदू मुस्लिम करते हैं. Sir, explain Mehbooba Mufti's statement to the family of the victims today, sir.
Well, Gaurav, I think your program and the title of your program itself speak what Mehbooba Mufti has been saying and what she has repeated today. I think only there are two beneficiaries out of the chaos which has spread across the country, and that includes Jammu and Kashmir as well. Politically, it is always Bharatiya Janata Party which is getting the mileage out of it, because the more Hindus which are targeted in Jammu and Kashmir, the more political mileage Bharatiya Janata Party gets across the country, and the news channels like yours only propagate what Bharatiya Janata Party wants to do.
Wow.
Wow.
Can I come in,
Seriously?
Gaurav? Can I
No.
come in?
Hold on. News channels like us, I haven't even been to Bharatiya Janata Party. I've come to you first. Not one word of sympathy for the victims. Not one word of sympathy for the victims. And you are targeting the BJP. You are targeting the media. What are you targeting the media for? BJP will defend itself. I don't care. But Firdaus Tak, no sympathy for the victims is something that speaks volumes of your mindset, sir. But I also want to come to the BJP on this aspect. Madam, 2019, 5th of August, Article 370 was removed.
Gaurav, complete. Let me complete.
Hold on, you completed your point.
Gaurav, let me complete.
And I'll come to you.
Gaurav, you have spoken about me. Gaurav, you have spoken about me.
But hold on, I will come to you.
You have spoken about me. You are bound to take my reaction. No,
I will take your reaction when I come to you for your reaction.
You can't speak about me and take the reaction from the BJP. You are speaking about me, my political ideology, and then taking reaction from Bharatiya Janata Party. How dare you said that I don't have a sympathy for the victim?
I didn't hear it.
How dare you can say that?
I didn't hear it.
You are targeting me just because my name is Firdaus Tak.
I didn't hear it.
Time and again I am coming to your show and warning you.
Don't make it a Hindu-Muslim debate. You're warning me on my show, PDP spokesperson.
And how you can say that I don't have a sympathy
because I didn't hear a word from you, and now just put his volume down. Let me bring in Charu Pragya of the BJP. There is no appeasement on this show, and I hope you're very clear on that on the first day of 2020, on the second day of 2023. Mr. Firdaus Tak, even if your name is Firdaus Tak, it doesn't matter on this show. It does not matter on this show whether your name is Amit Kumar or Firdaus Tak. As long as you are an Indian, you are welcome on this show. But if you consider yourself Indian, that is what is most important.
You are targeting when you said that I don't have
that is how important.
This
show is called. If it's India first for you, it is important.
Particular religion, Gaurav.
It is
and
India
that
first.
Has been the prime
you have played,
sir.
You have played religion card long enough. Start playing the India card if it's good. If you think it's good for you. Oh, come on! You played the religion card long enough, Firdaus Tak. It does not matter.
Biased mindset, Gaurav.
It does not matter.
Mindset.
But let me bring in Charu Pragya. I will not let Firdaus Tak derail this debate. This is exactly how they. This is exactly how they try to derail. This is exactly how an attempt is being made to derail the debate. This debate is about targeting of Hindus in Rajouri, and he makes it about his being Firdaus Tak. It is not about your being Firdaus Tak. It is about innocent Hindus who've been killed. If you have a word of sympathy, stay. If you have no sympathy, feel free to go. Charu Pragya, explain to me. Please remove his...
We have lost 4...
Please remove... I don't want this bulletin to be derailed like this. Incorrigible. This debate is about Hindus being killed in Rajouri. He makes it about Firdaus Tak and PDP. Charu Pragya, this is 2019 when Article 370 was removed and we were told Kashmir and Jammu will be safer. Terrorists will be killed. Demonetization. Terrorists will be killed. Ma'am, on the second day of 2023, they succeed in killing so many Hindus once again, madam. And of course, Firdaus Tak says BJP benefits.
Gaurav, good evening. And one killing is also one too many. I understand that. My government understands that. And I cannot tell you how painful this becomes. Talking about an issue like this, which is so sensitive, which is also so important for our country, should be done peacefully, politely, not the way Firdaus is handling it. I also want to remind him this is not about BJP versus his party. This is simply about India. This is simply about an ethnic cleansing which has been attempted in the valley, which is being attempted again. This is about radical Islamic terror, which rears its head again and again, which we as a nation are fighting. We have put in a lot of fighting this, and it continues. And because, of course, I have already told you even one killing is one too many. But for the sake of data, if I may, can I please tell you from 2006 to 2013, the number of killings by terrorists in the valley was more than 4,700. But the number from 2019 to 2022, unfortunately 23 saw another incident, but up to 22 was 721. So if you look at the percentage of decrease, that has gone down. Of course, while we are targeting terror in the valley, there is frustration across the border. There is frustration in the ISI. Their modus operandi is changing, whether it is using of drones or targeted killing, that is increasing. But you know, Gaurav, I also want to say one thing with a lot of responsibility. We can talk about intelligence failure. We can't talk about success of intelligence. So for so long, when our armed forces protect our citizens, there is no praise for that, there is no applaud for that. And it is terrible when there is an intelligence failure even once. But you have to remember that there is a round-the-clock work which is being done by the government of India, being done by our brave men.
Ma'am, there is a bigger... Ma'am, hold on. The brave men are doing their job. Everyone knows the brave men are doing their job. It's the man on top. Whether it's the Lieutenant Governor or the Union Home Minister, these are the people who are responsible for ensuring security of people in Jammu and Kashmir. And there was intelligence that minorities will be targeted, ma'am. There was specific intelligence. The Home Ministry review meeting that happened that spoke of targeting killing of minorities because it makes big headlines. And yet it happened. But General Hasnain, you know, before Firdaus Tak once again makes it into a Hindu Muslim or being targeted because his name is Firdaus Tak. Sir, this story is about targeting of Hindus in Rajouri and not either the PDP or Firdaus Tak. This is exactly how an agenda is set and how an issue is diverted. What more needs to be done to ensure that minorities remain safe even in this part of Pir Panjal? They are not safe on the other side of Pir Panjal, and God alone knows when at all will they be safe there, if at all.
See, Gaurav, over a period of time, what happens always in these situations is that as you gain greater stabilization, more security in these areas, you tend to dilute. As you discussed yourself in your last intervention, you start tending to dilute. It happened in South Kashmir to a great extent in my tenure also. I always advocate that you have to wait out this period and have the patience. No, you cannot dilute the strength of the army from these locations. You have to keep the Rashtra Rifles as they are. You cannot reorganize the Rashtra Rifles companies and tell them that your strength will be reduced and your footprint will be much less dense. Patrolling. Now, in patrolling, you may achieve nothing. You may not kill a terrorist. But the fact that you have been over a segment of ground, you have dominated that area of ground, will ensure that terrorists do not enter that area for a period of time after that. So, these are some of the methods that regular patrolling, intelligence gathering, outreach to the people, ensuring that the people are with you, ensuring good interstate relations between the different communities of that area. These are all the principles of counterterrorism which are always followed. They are being followed today. I have no doubt about it. The only thing that needs to be done is that we need to redouble our efforts from time to time. As I said earlier, in the dying embers of militancy and terrorism, the task of the security forces is far more difficult than when there is a plethora of terrorists roaming around everywhere waiting to be shot dead.
Sir, this desperation, and before I bring in Firdaus Tak, I want a military perspective once again. This desperation for premature declaration of victory before the aim has been achieved. You know, like removing forces from South Kashmir. Then a vacuum was created and terrorists came in once again. All the hard-won battle had to be won all over again. Similarly, Hilkaka. Sir, we saw operations there I covered operations there in early 2003. Hilkaka, again, terrorists are trying to come in. Rajouri had been virtually cleansed. Again, Rajouri has to be cleansed. Why are we prematurely, our political leaders, irrespective of party, whether it's PDP, NC, Congress, BJP, that's not the point, sir. Their desperation for premature declaration of victory and reduction of forces
right,
to make an international...
Unfortunately, the legacy, the historical aspect and the legacy of militancy terrorism over the last 30 years has now been really reduced to writing. Most people are unaware of these various aspects. For example, I can tell you, 1996, the decision to go in for elections was the finest decision that we took at that time.
Yes.
Perhaps people are misled by this. Sometimes, that in 7 years' time, we went into elections immediately. We went into Operation Sadbhavna in 1997. So, similarly, very good decisions have been taken in the past to reduce the footprint, enhance outreach operations, etc. But I think by and large, what we have learned is that give 3, 4, 5 years to certain segments of the areas which have the potential of the return of terrorism. Remember one thing, it is the networks. What the political leadership, what the civilian leadership needs to understand is terrorism does not survive on its own. It survives on networks.
Yes.
You have to repeatedly keep targeting networks all the time, and the solution is that. You cannot rest on your hunches and say that I have neutralized all the networks, because from across the line of control, networks are under control all the time. And in today's world of social media, this is so easy. With drones, your supply lines are being created through drones today. So new means of being found. You cannot dilute the strength of the security forces, and you've got to keep reimagining how exactly you are going to neutralize this threat to India.
Firdaus Tak, the enemy is the terrorist who's killing innocent people. The terrorists who kill these people, they are the ones who need to be targeted, and Pakistan that supports that network. But political leaders in the valley, Hindu-Muslim Rajniti ho rahi hai desh mein, that is to be blamed. How is that Rajniti to be blamed for this, sir?
Well, Gaurav, I again will repeat my objection to what you earlier said, that I don't have any sympathy for the victims. We all feel, irrespective of from where the victim comes, we feel equally for all of them. Unlike you, who has a different mindset, we don't follow that mindset. One. Number two.
Don't worry about
yes,
my mindset, sir.
Unfortunate
don't worry about my mindset. Just respond to the question asked. Don't worry about my mindset.
This entire country was told in 2000. This entire country was told in 2018 that we are dismantling the political apparatus in Jammu and Kashmir because Bharatiya Janata Party has something out of box solution to control situation in Jammu and Kashmir. The country was told that it is the National Congress and PDP which is responsible for these terrorist activities and terror-like activities.
Can I come in, please?
Whenever incidents like this happened in 2000, let me complete. before 2014, people like the Bharatiya Janata Party people who are visiting these spots today would shout against the political dispensation, hold them responsible for the situation. And the same people, when they are visiting the spots today, they are holding Pakistan responsible without taking the responsibility of the situation. The Bharatiya Janata Party has been taking credit of the lull, taking the credit that we have stopped the stone pelting, we have stopped the political aspirations in Kashmir, but whenever things go south, they don't take the responsibility. We all, as citizens of this country, as a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, are concerned about the situation.
As citizens of
but
India,
at the
sir,
same time,
as citizens
the
of
question
India,
has to be asked
Firdaus
to the
Taq,
ruling
we as
dispensation,
citizens of
which
India,
is
just a gentle reminder, citizens of India, I'm certain.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Gaurav. That's the problem with your mindset. I said, as a citizen of this country and as a citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, I think the country is Bharat, this India. But you have a problem with my name. I'm telling you once
duality
again,
of
you have
citizenship is
with-
my only
with my
point.
face. You have
This
problem with
duality
my
of citizenship,
regional identity.
I'm asking
That's why you heard
duality
it.
of
That's why you
citizenship.
heard it. Country Jammu and Kashmir.
Sir, लद्दाख से लेकर
That's
लक्षद्वीप
why
तक
you
सभी
heard the country
भारतवासी
as Jammu
एक
and
है.
Kashmir. I am saying as citizen of this country.
No, so that
हाँ,
is
तो
why
मैं
once
भी
you're
कह
a
रहा
citizen
हूँ
of India, it does
भारतवासी
not,
की
you
तरह
do not
मैं भी
become
तो
a
वही कह
citizen
रहा
of
हूँ
Jammu Kashmir
गौरव
separately.
मैं कह रहा हूँ as a citizen of this country.
Correct. तो उसके बाद
I
जम्मू
am
कश्मीर का
saying as a
सिटीजन बोलने की
citizen of-
जरूरत नहीं
अरे
है.
यार,
मैं आपको
आप
वो
इस मुल्क
समझाने
के
की
citizen
कोशिश
हैं।
कर रहा हूँ.
गौरव, आप इस मुल्क के सिटीजन हैं, तो जिस सोसाइटी में आप इस मुल्क के सिटीजन हैं, तो जिस सोसाइटी में आपका घर है उसके आप सिटीजन नहीं है,
मैं
उस
अलग से तो
सोसाइटी
नहीं
का
हूँ.
हिस्सा नहीं
मैं
है.
दिल्ली का
तो
मैं
क्या
सिटीजन
बात
नहीं
कर रहे हो
हूँ.
आप यार?
मैं दिल्ली का
I am-
सिटीजन
when I
नहीं
am
हूँ.
saying
मैं
Jammu and
भारत
Kashmir,
का
why is
नागरिक
it-
हूँ.
why is it
मैं
hurting
महाराष्ट्र
you?
का नागरिक नहीं हूँ. मैं
Why is
वही
it
आपको
hurting
बताने
you?
की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ.
I am saying as a
2023 में
citizen
नया
of
साल
this
है.
country-
नई सोच के साथ
अरे
आगे
बाबा
बढ़िए. आप
यार,
ही का
क्या
लाभ होगा.
क्या यार किन लोगों को खुश कर रहे हो गौरव यार?
मैं
वो
अपने देश
तनख्वाह
को
आ जाएगी यार.
मैं
आप लोगों
केवल
की तनख्वाह नहीं कटती है.
सर
किन
मेरी
लोगों को
तनख्वाह
खुश कर रहे हो यार?
मेरी तनख्वाह तो जब रुबैया सईद जी का अपहरण हुआ था और जब आतंकवाद शुरू हुआ था, जब मैं 1994 में पत्रकारिता शुरू कर रहा था, तब से मेरी तनख्वाह रही है. और जब तक मैं नौकरी करूंगा मेरी तनख्वाह आएगी. कई सरकारें बदली है सर, तनख्वाह मेरी आएगी. आप मेरी तनख्वाह की आप चिंता मत करिए. लेकिन आप ये जरूर याद रखिएगा फिरदौस ताक जी, आप भारत के सदस्य हैं. लेट मी गेट जनरल हसनैन टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू यू. लेट मी गेट जनरल हसनैन टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू यू.
आप दिल्ली में किसी टेबल पे बैठ के पत्रकारिता कर रहे थे. मैंने 96 में पत्रकारिता जब शुरू की ना, जम्मू कश्मीर में इन्हीं गोलियों के बीच में पत्रकारिता शुरू की है.
जी.
तो मुझे तो पत्रकारिता मत सिखाओ भाई.
मैं आपको पत्रकारिता नहीं सिखा रहा हूं आपको. आप पत्रकार हैं ये मुझे आज पता चला. मुझे तो लगा आप किसी पार्टी के सदस्य हैं.
लेकिन मेरे हिस्से में ना डालें.
नहीं, आप जनरल हसनैन, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम यू. जनरल हसनैन, आर यू अ सिटीजन ऑफ दिस कंट्री और आर यू अ सिटीजन ऑफ सम स्टेट?
आई हैव एन इक्वल राइट. जो आपका राइट है वही मेरा राइट है.
नहीं सर, आप कुछ स्पेशल राइट्स क्लेम कर रहे हैं जो 21वीं सदी के भारत में 2023 में. ओके, चारू प्रज्ञा वांट्स टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू यू politically. Okay, Charu Pragya wants to respond to you politically because on our show we do some plain speak and it's high time you get used to plain speak. Charu Pragya, please respond.
अरे उससे ज्यादा तो आप बीजेपी को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हो.
सर, अगर आपको लगता है बीजेपी भारत है तो ये आपकी गलती है. मैं भारत की बात करता हूँ. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये आरएसएस की सोच है तो आप आरएसएस को भारत की सोच बता रहे हैं. ये आपकी मानसिकता है, लेकिन मेरी लश्कर तैयबा की सोच नहीं है. ये मैं आपको दिल से कह देता हूँ.
आरएसएस की सोच है, ये भारत की सोच नहीं है.
अच्छा, कि जम्मू कश्मीर भारत का अंग है, ये आरएसएस की सोच है. ये आपकी सोच नहीं है. चारू प्रज्ञा आपको रिस्पॉन्ड कर रही है.
Gaurav, can I get?
भारत
Yes,
का
please.
Can you
देखो
put
आप
a
क्वेश्चन
fader
क्या
on him,
पूछ रहे
Gaurav,
हो.
because this is derailing the debate and we're only wasting time.
Respond, Charu
Thank you very
Pragya.
much. So, if you are asking me about Bharat ki soch, I will tell you Bharat ki soch kya hai. After abrogation of Article 370, the number of tourists visiting the valley has been the highest ever. Highest ever. Only in the last 1 year alone, the number of
But
people
Charu
who
Pragya, that's
visited...
cold comfort to the families of the Hindus killed today, Charu Pragya.
No. Can I...
You know,
number of
tourism. I'm sorry, Charu Pragya. My apologies, Charu Pragya. Number of tourists does not mean that the government has succeeded in keeping Hindus safe in Rajouri. There are no Hindus who are willing to return to the valley. Hardly any.
Speaking over me.
Kashmiri Pandits are scared.
आ रहे हैं जम्मू कश्मीर में. जम्मू कश्मीर के हालात.
But that's not the point. Once again, I want both their audios down because politics will derail this. General Hussain, Firdaus Taq of the PDP says he is a citizen of the country and J&K. Sir, are you also a citizen of the country and some state, or are you a citizen of India? Is that the mindset that from Ladakh to Lakshadweep everyone should have, sir?
Well, Gaurav, I'm very proud to call myself an Indian citizen and an Indian soldier. And I will differ. I call myself an Indian soldier too, right? Having done an extensive service in Jammu Kashmir in particular, I particularly I'm unfortunate, and it's so unfortunate that I am in the middle of a debate which is full of rancor. I don't associate such a debate with your channel and with you particularly at all. So I would say in future, for a contentious subject such as this, perhaps you would prefer to get professionals rather than political leaders. They'll probably be able to convey much more to the public, which is, I'm getting calls from all over, let me tell you. I'm getting calls from all over India asking me, sir, is this back to the 90s? Ye पिछले 7 दिन में 3-4 incident हो गए. Is it back to the 90s? No one is explaining it here. That 5th August 2019 decisions nowhere promise the end of militancy in 3 years. You've fought this militancy terror for 30 years. You've got systems in place. You've got networks in place. You've got a country on the other side which is not vaporized. It is very much there. It is following a radical ideology against you. It is targeting your minorities. It's not easy to be able to stop all this in a matter of 2 to 3 years. But yes, we've drastically reduced it. And therefore, under the cover, someone will slip in sometime and you will find an incident of this kind will take place. Unfortunate. I regret it. Even as a soldier, I regret the loss of innocent lives today. But I would not like my leadership to be talking in this manner, because they should appreciate the fact that soldiers are working day and night to try and ensure this kind of stability, and you must appreciate this fact that this cannot end overnight.
Fair enough, sir. Sir, again, since you're a soldier, and I want a soldier's perspective, and I would want all our guests on the broadcast to keep India first. This is about a nation that's battling Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, which has got support from pockets within our country, and those pockets need to be eliminated. It's as clear as day. But General, I want to understand from you, politics we're a democracy. Political parties will indulge in politics. There is point scoring and getting votes for them. How do you ensure that our political parties keep India first? If Pakistan and radical Islamic terror are to be blamed, they don't start blaming Hindu-Muslim Rajniti of this country and derail the main attack on the adversary.
Gaurav, I still feel it's very important to have political rancor. It's very important to have political debate, differences. That's what the opposition is meant for, right? And I'm happy many times to participate in debates where I listen to these kind of things. But a line has to be drawn somewhere. And that line, beyond that line, when it comes to starting to affect national security, all political parties must join in, something like 1994, if you remember the 22nd February resolution at that time. And all parties joined, they realized that India was being taken to the cleaners by the Americans, by Pakistan, joining hands together, and it would affect us adversely. I think that realization must come in. And the larger meaning of national security must be understood by political leaderships at different levels. Highest leadership level, of course, everyone understands it. Cabinet level, everyone understands it. But different state and perhaps district levels, lower levels, much more efforts are needed to perhaps explain the various nuances of national security as related to terror, as related to social aspects, particularly the issue of radicalism, which you mentioned. I have always quoted, Islamic radicalism is a major threat to India. And we have not found the methods yet to be able to counter it effectively.
Unfortunately, sir, vote bank ki rajniti havi ho jati hai, but I want to understand from you, Charu Pragya. Ma'am, return of tourism is no parameter to decide how safe a union territory is, given the fact that your Kashmiri Pandit workers don't want to go back to the valley and Hindus are being targeted in Rajouri, ma'am. What are effective measures that you'll take after the Home Minister's all-important meeting?
So, Gaurav, like I said, there are going to be changes which will come not instantly. It's not a button you switch on after decades of trouble in the valley. Sometimes construction takes a bit of time. You must have heard this: destruction is quick, construction takes time. And we are bringing the valley back to life step by step, and we're going to ensure that it is steps which will stay here forever. So while I understand that safety of our citizens, especially those of Kashmiri Hindus which are still there, is paramount, it is being looked after, I think there are other indicators which are important. The way the other political spokesperson on your panel has been speaking, I think it is shameful, because if he wants to speak for the rest of India, only looking at one tiny segment of people, I don't think he understands that a lot has changed. A lot has changed. The investments getting into the valley is changing, which basically means the youngsters will be constructively employed. They will be looking at other things to do with their time rather than, indulging in stone pelting or associating with the wrong kind of people. There is going to be better education all around, with new colleges opening up. When tourism increases, income increases for these families. It's all interlinked, Gaurav, and I'm sorry, we cannot separate one from the other. We have to also understand that political parties which misuse the people of the valley, the funds flowing into the valley, every other thing for their own personal gain, and not to help the people become stronger, whether with academics or with better jobs. Now they are the ones who are suffering, and that's why they lash out on national television like Firdaus right now.
Okay, Firdaus, since there's a direct reference to you, you want to respond to Charu Pragya?
Well, I'm not getting the proper audio from the studio, but whatever I picked from what Charu has been saying, I just want to ask her how long this will continue. How many more lives you want from Jammu and Kashmir to be lost? How many more minorities dead bodies you want before you can claim that now we can handle the situation in Jammu and Kashmir? And you have to stop lying to this country. Not a single college has been opened in last 4 years. Not a single medical college. Not a single employment. All the 4 lists which were issued by the recruiting agencies turned out to be the major scams in Jammu and Kashmir. The investment has been lowest in last 5 years in Jammu and Kashmir. You have to stop lying to the country. And Gaurav, and just a request,
I will get Charu Pragya to respond to that, but Firdaus Taq, this was about Hindu minorities being killed in Rajouri. Please have empathy for everyone in Jammu and Kashmir. For far too long, it's just been politics of some. Please, let it be Jammu and Kashmir, and let Kashmiriyat, it's a request, let Kashmiriyat be more than just words. Let Kashmiriyat be more than just words. Let it show in action on ground. I have run out of time on this part of the show, but this will be a story we'll be tracking very, very closely. Kashmiriyat, not just in words, but in deed on ground across Jammu and Kashmir. A quick break. Coming up on the other side. Days after Tunisha Sharma's mother leveled sensational charges against Sijan's family, the family has spoken up. They've fired counter charges at Tunisha's mother. That story and lots more coming up. Stay with us.
ಅವನು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ವಿಶಾಲವಾದ ಭೂಮಿನ ತನ್ನ ಊರಿನವರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ನಂತೆ.
ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ದೈವ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮಾತಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದು?
Rishabh Shetty's Kantara opened in theatres on September 30th, much to the delight of his die-hard fans. The film received rave reviews, which helped it emerge as a big hit in the Kannada box office, and has also become the highest rated Indian movie on IMDb with a rating of 9.6. This means that it has a higher rating than biggies such as Yash's KGF2, which has 8.4, and S.S. Rajamouli directed RRR, which has 8. Written and directed by Rishabh Shetty, Kantara is a period action thriller that explores the traditional culture of Kambala and Bhutakola. Rishabh plays two distinct characters in the flick. The cast includes Kishore, Achyut Kumar, Sympathy Gowda and Pramod Shetty. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
News just coming in. Some bombshells have been found at a village in Punjab, and these shells have been found at the Punjab-Haryana border, very close to the helipad that is used by chief ministers both of Punjab and of Haryana. This is some kind of an explosive device that has been found. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Lalit Sharma, joining us for more on the story. Lalit, what more do we know? This looks like some kind of old projectile.
Definitely, Gaurav, around 1.5 hours before they got the information that nearby area, the secretariat and the residents of Punjab, which is almost around 2 kilometers away. It's the boundary of Punjab and Chandigarh. The area is named as Kansal. There in the garden of Mango Garden, there was a live bombshell which has been found. Right now you can see in the visual that it has been closed by a red color container, but right now what we are getting that the army has been called off to dispose of, and as per the information, some layman coming here near this garden found this bombshell, and after that the information was being passed to the Chandigarh police, after which the whole area has been cordoned off. So right now you can see that the whole area where the ropes have been put off, it has been cordoned off, and right now the investigation is going on from where this bombshell has been found. But as per the information, it seems that it's a old bombshell which has been found here, and in a while the army has been called off to dispose of. Yes,
Okay.
Gaurav.
Keep tracking that story, Lalit. I will come back to you for more. The bomb disposal squad and the army have also been called in. This looks like an old projectile, some kind of an explosive, but how did it reach there remains the big question. Actor Shizan Khan's bail hearing will now take place on the 7th of January. The 27-year-old actor has been in custody of the police since the 26th of December. This after the alleged suicide of actor Tunisha Sharma, his co-star. Shizan's family has dismissed all allegations of trying to forcibly convert Tunisha made by her family. Shizan's family also responded to allegations that have been made by Tunisha's mother. Tunisha's mother had claimed that Shizan initially promised to marry her. Later, he called off the marriage, claiming that not only was there a big age difference, she was 20, he was 28, but also a different religion. And he claimed after it was a considered decision that he decided to call off the idea to marry her. But the family, the girl's family, the victim's family have raised several questions, including the image that you see on your television screen, a delay in taking her to hospital. That's what they've claimed. India Today, of course, has also accessed the last conversation that Tunisha had with Shizan's mother. This conversation had taken place on the 5th of September 2022, and in this conversation accessed by India Today's reporters in Mumbai, Tunisha can be heard breaking down while talking to Shizan's mother.
आप मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखते हो अम्मा, बहुत ज़्यादा. आपको अब जानते भी नहीं हो, इसलिए आपसे हर बात शेयर करने का मन करता है. इसलिए मेरे जहन में जो भी होगा मैं आपको बताऊंगी, लेकिन पता नहीं मुझे खुद नहीं पता मुझे क्या हो रहा है. आप मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखते हो अम्मा, बहुत ज़्यादा. आपको अब जानते भी नहीं हो, इसलिए आपसे हर बात शेयर करने का मन करता है. इसलिए मेरे जहन में जो भी होगा मैं आपको बताऊंगी, लेकिन पता नहीं मुझे खुद नहीं पता मुझे क्या हो रहा है. आप मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखते हो अम्मा, बहुत ज़्यादा. आपको अब जानते भी नहीं हो, इसलिए आपसे हर बात शेयर करने का मन करता है. इसलिए मेरे जहन में जो भी होगा मैं आपको बताऊंगी, लेकिन पता नहीं मुझे खुद नहीं पता मुझे क्या हो रहा है. आप मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखते हो अम्मा, बहुत ज़्यादा. आपको अब जानते भी नहीं हो, इसलिए आपसे हर बात शेयर करने का मन करता है. इसलिए मेरे जहन में जो भी होगा मैं आपको बताऊंगी, लेकिन पता नहीं मुझे खुद नहीं पता मुझे क्या हो रहा है.
And 4 people were killed, 3 others were in critical condition when 2 helicopters collided mid-flight near a popular tourist attraction on Australia's Gold Coast today. This mid-air collision occurred close to the SeaWorld Resort in Australia when one helicopter was in the process of landing and the other was taking off, according to Queensland's police acting inspector. Now, one damaged helicopter did manage to land safely on the sandbank of the Gold Coast, but the other crashed in the same area, as you can see in these images. Now, Queensland Ambulance Service said 13 people were at the scene. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau said that an investigation had now been launched into this accident. A quick break coming up on the other side. Horrific New Year tragedy in the national capital. 5 men allegedly under the influence hit a scooty, dragged a girl for 12 kilometers. The girl died on spot. The accused have now been remanded to 3 days police custody. Arvind Kejriwal has demanded capital punishment for the accused.
If there is one film everyone's waiting for with bated breath, it has to be Pushpa the Rule. The next in the Allu Arjun starrer franchise, which will be in continuation of its first part. It will witness the clash between his character Pushpa Raj and antagonist Bhavar Singh Shekhawat.
Pushpa Raj.
Fahad Fasil is already a part of Pushpa franchise, and reports also suggest that the makers have approached Vijay Sethupathi for a crucial role in the film.
Pushpa and the flower and fire.
So if at all he comes on board, it surely is going to be double trouble for Allu Arjun's character Pushpa Raj. The film went on floors in August, and building up further excitement among fans, the makers shared behind-the-scenes picture from the sets of the movie. Speculations are rife that the sequel of Pushpa the Rise is being made on a whopping budget of 350 crore rupees, and the film is expected to release in the second half of 2023.